friends, welcome back to the Photoshop Basics for Scrapbooking class. In today's lesson, I am so excited to introduce layer templates to you. Layer templates are my favorite way of using Photoshop to help me plan out my pages and get everything situated in just the right way before I print it and create it in real life here on my table. So today I'm going to show you exactly what layer templates are and the basics of how to use them inside of both Photoshop Creative Cloud and Photoshop Elements. My hope is that you are as excited about these amazing tools as I am by the time we are done with today's lesson. And I just can't wait to show you how much these can change your digital scrapbooking life. So let's head over to the computer so I can show you all that I know about using layer templates to help you create your scrapbooking pages in both Creative Cloud and Elements. Welcome back, friends, to my desktop. Today we're starting inside of Photoshop Creative Cloud, just like usual, and then we'll transition ourselves into Elements after going over everything here first. Our topic for today is all about layer templates. What are layer templates and how can they make your life so much easier? Layer templates can seem a little bit daunting if you are not used to looking at them. So that being said, let's go ahead and open one up so you can see what I am talking about. Here is our layer template that we are going to be working with today. A layer template is essentially a page full of shapes that are meant to be placeholders for your photos, your journaling cards, your elements, your text. On this page here, you can see that there are a wide variety of boxes and shapes that you can add things into. All of these black boxes are exactly that. They are the placeholders. This was a layer template that I created for a notebook that has these spaces printed on the pages. I wanted a way for me to easily configure my photos into the right shapes and sizes so I could print them off, cut them out, and stick them down into the places where they belong. So that's what we're going to be working with today, but a layer template does not always look exactly like this one. It could look a little bit different. Actually, let me go ahead and pull up a different layer template so you can see how other layer templates might look as well. Okay, so here is a different layer template, and this is one that was purchasable in 2021 through Ali Edwards for the December Daily Collection. On this layer template, you can see that there are, again, a bunch of different shapes on here in different colors. So we've got gray and green and red. There are some text boxes here at the bottom, which just have a bunch of gibberish in them right now. And then there's also this December 2021 looking title or embellishment located in the middle of the page. The wonderful thing about a layer template like this one is it's telling you exactly where you can put all of your quote-unquote things. The boxes here could become photos, or you could add journaling cards inside of them. The text boxes at the bottom are places for you to edit and add in your own text. And then this little element here is just a title piece that you can keep, or if you don't like it, you can also take it off of the layer template, which is one of the nice things about these types of products or these types of templates that you can work with is they are fully adjustable. You don't have to keep all of the things on all of the pages. So let's start by talking about this one that just has the boxes, and then we'll transition into the layer template that has a little bit more to it. For this template, what we want to do, I'm going to open up some pictures here. I've got 4 different pictures of my kids from the pumpkin patch. I'm not going to edit them or anything. We're just going to use them as is. So what we want to do is designate, I guess for now I'm going to close out of that. We're going to designate where the photos are going to go. So let's say that I want to add all 4 of my photos onto this page. Maybe I want all 3 of these vertically situated elements, and then maybe this one that's a square. And then I can use the top one to add in perhaps a title or some journaling, and I can do the same thing for the bottom, maybe add an element or journaling there as well. So for the photo portion, I'm going to open up my photos that I want to use, assuming that they had already been edited the way I wanted them to. I'm not going to do that, but we'll pretend that they are. And I just am going to select the entire photo, copy it, and then we're going to come over to the layer template. So once we have decided where the photo is going to go, before we do anything else, we need to use the Move tool to click on the box where we want our photo to live. So I am going to click on this box right here, and when I do so, it's going to select the box in my Layers panel. If your program is not doing that, you want to make sure that in the Move tool menu here at the top that you have this Auto Select button with the check mark in it. That means that whatever I click on, it's going to auto select in my Layers panel. So we're going to click on the box here in the upper right hand corner. Once I have that box selected, I can then paste in my photo. You can see that my photo at this point is giant. It's enormous. And that's okay. We're going to reduce it down to fit it inside of that box. But another thing that you'll notice is the box that I selected is now underneath my photo, and that's exactly what I want. So now with my photo pasted, we're going to come over to the photo layer in my Layers panel and right click on it so we get the menu. From the menu, I want to go up to Create Clipping Mask. This is going to make it so my photo only appears in whatever the shape is located underneath it. So when I select that, you can see that everything outside of the rectangle space here disappears, but the whole photo is still there. So I can click on my photo and move it to see different parts of it. Now, I don't want my photo to be this big, and this is where that transform tool from last week is going to come in handy. With the photo layer selected, I'm going to free transform, Control or Command T, with my photo here, and then you can see the blue line shows up around the outside of the photo. I can then reduce the size of the photo that I'm adding in until I get it to the size I want it to be. So maybe around here, right? These aren't the perfect pictures for this layout, but that's okay. We're just playing around so you can see. Maybe we'll do it like this, so you can see what this will look like. When I hit the enter button, I'm going to adjust this because it wasn't quite right. When I hit the enter button, it's going to come into focus, and now my photo is constrained to this one shape right here. We can do this again, so let's grab another photo here. And this time, let's actually put it in this bottom one. So I'm going to select the bottom one first so that in the Layers panel, the correct shape is selected. Then when I paste my picture in, it's going to paste directly above the rectangle I want it to go into. With my photo layer selected, I'm going to right click and select Create Clipping Mask, which then puts it into the box so we can't see anything except for where that shape is. Using free transform, Control T, I can then reduce the size of my photo to get it where I want it to go. Again, these aren't like the perfect sizes, but they're okay. We're okay. When I hit enter, it will come into focus, clear up, and then now we've got this little tiny photo where I want it to be. Let's do these other two really quick. So select all, copy. We're going to add this one here on the little tiny square. So I should do back up to go forward. I'm going to select the smaller square with my Move tool, paste in my photo, right click on the photo layer and Create Clipping Mask, free transform, Control T, in order to reduce the size of the photo, which brings it down to a much better scale, right? When I get it where I like it, I'm going to hit enter and it will bring it into focus. And then I've got one more. So we will select all and copy, bring this over to, let's do this one in the middle. So I'm going to select the box first, paste it in, right click, Create Clipping Mask, free transform, and then reduce this to the size I want it to be. Making sure that it fills up that whole square. Or I guess rectangle, right? Okay. So maybe like that. So we've got the 4 pictures here. Then what I might want to do is come into these other boxes and decide, okay, maybe I want to add a stamp set here. Maybe I want to add text into here, or a journaling card. Let me see if I've got a journaling card from before. Maybe in here. So let's say I wanted to add this journaling card into, this spot. So I can select all, copy the card, come back over to my layer template and select the box here, paste the card on top, and then we can create clipping mask to put it inside of the box, right? So it's there, it's inside the box. Not the perfect card again, but it's just what I had in my files. It was easy for me to find. So it's just a way to help you put your elements onto a page in the sizes that you want. So this is a notebook that I use over and over again, and all of the pages are printed the same. What's awesome about having a layer template is now I don't have to think about the sizes anymore. All I have to do is pull open this template, put my photos into the template, and then I can print it, cut it out, and add it into the notebook itself. Now, if you're working with a layer template and you want to print your elements off, but I don't necessarily want to print this page, I recommend printing your elements on a larger canvas, especially if you have a printer that works at the 8.5 by 11. If you're working with the 6 by 4, you can also add these to a 6 by 4 canvas and print them that way. But let me show you really quick how you would go about doing that. I'm going to open up an 8.5 by 11 inch canvas, and I'm going to close out of some of these things to make it easier to find our stuff. Okay. Before you move these onto the new canvas, you actually need to combine them down. So what I'm going to do is select my photo and the shape underneath, right? So each of these photos has this little arrow that points to the shape underneath it, saying that this photo is fit inside of this shape. So if I select both of them, the photo and the rectangle, and then I right click, I can merge the 2 layers together. I do not want to merge visible because that would merge everything on my screen right now. And I don't want to flatten the image because that would do the same thing. I just want to merge the 2 layers that I currently have selected. And when they are merged, this is now one thing. So there's no rectangle underneath the photo anymore. If I were to come over, let's actually get rid of that one. If I were to come over to the photo here, this one, the little square, and I hide the photo, the square is still visible underneath, or the rectangle. So I will select those 2 layers, right click, and merge them together. Do the same thing for this photo here, merge those 2 layers, and for this last photo, and we will merge those 2 layers. So now all of these photos are just trimmed down to that size. They're not clipped inside of a shape anymore. They are the shape. So I'm going to take this photo here, I have it selected, copy it, and now when I paste it onto a larger canvas, it pastes in at the exact measurement that it is designed in on my layer template, right? So I can do that for all 4 of these, add them onto this larger canvas, and then when I'm ready to print my photos, I can add even more onto here and print them all off at once. That's generally how I work when I'm working with layer templates in this way. If you were to not merge those layers first, let's kind of undo that here for a minute, and let's try out this one. Whoops. This bottom one here. So I'm going to select the bottom layer. I need to keep undoing here for a moment. Okay, I think we're good now. All right, so I want to copy and paste over this photo of the kids here in the bottom. So if I were to click on the photo and copy it and then paste it onto the page, you can see that it's the same scale as the one I wanted, but it is no longer in the shape that I wanted. I can also come over here and try to select both of these shapes and copy them and then paste them, and that would work too, it's just going to have, you're going to have a lot more pieces that you're moving around over here. So if you forget to select both of them and you come over here and try to move this photo, it's just a little more difficult to do that. So I always recommend merging the shapes together before you add them onto a canvas to print. It's just going to save you a little bit of frustration later down the line, even though, yes, it is a bit more tedious to do it that way. Okay, so let's open up I don't want to save this. Let's open up the second template that I was talking about from December Daily. So here it is. So for this one, it's going to work in the same way, right? This one, you can see that there are some different sections, some different groups. So if you're trying to change the photos, it'll be inside of this photo group. And then there they all are. You can close that up in order to see the text columns and the other pieces more easily, especially since there are so many elements on this one page. With this, you can hide. So like this December 2021, it is no longer December 2021, so you can totally delete that off if you want to, or you can hide it if you want to, so that you don't have to see it on there and you don't have to print it. The text, you can come down and double click inside of those text boxes in order to add in your own words. And then the rest of this works the exact same way. So if I pull open a photo here, select it all and copy it, I can come over to this layer template and say, where would I like this photo to go? How about right here on this red one? So using that move tool with the auto select on, I'm going to click on this red box, paste my photo on top, which is going to go on top of everything. And then I want to right click on it to bring up my menu and create clipping mask. And it puts it inside of that red box. Then I can free transform, Control T, and adjust the size to where I want it to go. So we can pop it open, we can move it. I'm using my keys to move it a little bit, my arrow keys. And then when I hit enter, it'll bring it into focus. So I could fill all of these boxes with my photos to create a really cool collaged page. And then I don't have to worry about the different sizes to print my photos at. I mean, how obnoxious is it to try and size your photo at 1.22 inches by 1.73 inches and then cropping that down and then making sure you've got it in just the right place. Instead, here the sizing is already done for you. You just need to pop your photo in there, clip it into the box itself, adjust your sizing, and you're good to go. These are really, really awesome because they make your life so much easier. So let's switch over to Photoshop Elements, and we're going to quickly do the same thing here. So let's start by opening up the boxes only layer template. Here you can see in the layers panel, all of those different boxes are showing up. In my move tool, again, I've got that auto select layer. So if that is not selected, it won't automatically click on the layer that you are clicking on top of. So I like to keep that on always, auto select layer. So then as I just select the different boxes, it's going to automatically find it in my layers panel. So then we can open up a photo. Let's do this one. We will select all of it and copy it, and then come back over to our layers panel. And remember, the most important part is to select the box that you want the photo to go in. Let's put it in this one before you paste it in. Then when you paste in your photo, the photo is going to go directly above the box that you had selected. From here, we can right click on the photo and go down to create clipping mask. It'll put it inside of that little box. And then we can free transform, Control T, in order to, I forget this one's a little different. We can free transform, Control T, and adjust the size. One major difference between Photoshop Elements and Photoshop Creative Cloud is that Creative Cloud maintains the scale of the photo even when you adjust size from this middle one on the top or the middle ones on the sides. With Photoshop Elements, you have to go from the corner in order to keep your photo to scale. So if I go from the corner here, that's going to help me make sure that my photo stays scaled correctly. I can get this where I want it to go and hit enter. Let me show you really fast what would happen if you didn't go from the corners. So if you are going from the top and you're adjusting it down, you can see that it like totally warps the picture. I don't know how to turn that off. There might be a way inside of Elements to, when you are transforming, to make sure that it stays to scale, but I haven't been able to figure that out. So I just remember when I'm working in Elements, I need to go from the corner in order to get the proportions correct on my photo. So then you can see my photo is inside of the square. I'm not going to do all the rest of them, but I will say that if you are moving this onto a larger canvas, let's open a larger canvas that is not centimeters. That is 8.5 by 11, 300 pixels per inch. Here is our page. So this is what I would print out if I was printing this photo. And then I'm going to come over here to the layer and the rectangle underneath, selecting both of those layers. I will right click and then I'm going to merge the layers together. So now they become one, making them much easier to work with. So when it comes to copying and pasting these different elements onto a larger canvas, inside of Elements, Photoshop Elements, for whatever reason, it is a lot more complicated than it is in Photoshop Creative Cloud, at least as far as I've been able to decipher. If you know of an easier way to do this, I am open ears. I would love to know. But here is a way that you can make this work. In the selection tools over to the left, there is the marquee tool that's got the marching ants around the outside of it. Using the marquee tool, you can select a space. So I'm going to put the marching ants around this photo. Then I'm going over to edit and I want to copy the merged elements. So copy merged. We can go over to our new canvas now and paste the element in. And you can see that it does in fact bring it onto the screen here. So then I can add this onto that 8.5 by 11 canvas and bring my other ones over here too, whatever other ones I want to use, and then print this off, cut them out, and use them for a hybrid scrapbooking type of project, which is what I would use this for. That is a really complicated and annoying process for getting an element from one canvas to another. And definitely I prefer the functionality of Photoshop Creative Cloud in this instance a lot more. But yes, that being said, let's go ahead and open up the second of our layer templates next. So this one works the same way as before. You can see all the layers up here. We've got our 4 different text columns, our bucket of photos here, and then the December daily embellishment, which I definitely wouldn't want. So I would turn that off or delete it in order to not have it on here. Then I can open up my photo. Let's just grab one, copy all of it. With this photo selected and copied, we're going to come back over to our layer template here to paste this in. Now, one of the things I am noticing is when I try to select, I think I moved this, when I try to select one of the photos, it selects the entire group of photos instead of the individual photo element. So what you could do here is you could ungroup these layers, and that will make it a little bit easier. Then you can select each of the individual ones. To do that, what I did is I clicked on this title that says photos. I right clicked here and I said ungroup layers. And then it brought them each into their own layer. That's definitely what I would do, because then you can select whichever layer you want to work with, paste in your photo, right click on the photo layer here, and we're going to create clipping mask, and then use that free transform tool to adjust your photo to the size you want it to be. So let's say maybe like right here, right? So there is my photo. When I hit enter or the green check mark, it'll bring it into focus. I could fill in all of the rest of these with photos and add in my own journaling, print this off on a full page of, like on a full 8.5 by 11, and just stick it into my album after trimming it down. So this is a way to create a fully digital type of layout, or you could make it hybrid by adding in some physical embellishments, those types of things. But a really easy way to create your own layouts. All right, friends, that is going to be it for today. I hope this was helpful in giving you an introduction to layer templates and maybe hopefully convincing you why you should learn how to use them. It will, I guarantee it, make your life so much easier when you're trying to create layouts that have a grid look to them, or if you're creating the same layouts over and over and over again, these can really save you a lot of time. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. Next week, I'm going to be back and we're going to talk about creating our own layer templates. How can we create our own for the different projects that we want to make? In the meantime, I would love for you to play around with some layer templates. If you have some in your files, in your archive, then you can totally use that. I will also include the spiral scrappy notebook layer template that I was just working with, so you can use that one to give it a try inside of Photoshop or Elements, and just play around with how the different functions work so you can get a feel for it before we get into creating our own custom layer templates next week. Until then, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, friends, and I will see you in the next lesson. Bye now.